There we are. Shoo, buddy. Okay. Y'all, we're going to talk a little bit about this Variety article. I know Variety. It's one of those West Coast rags. But we're talking about these flippin' actors. These these children pretending to be men. Let's do this one. Oh dear. The camera seems to have... Okay. Live is hard mode, right? Here we go. See if we can get the camera back where it's supposed to be. How's that look, guys? Okay, so... Oh! And I adjusted the position of the microphone. Hopefully... this improves some things. Not sure if I like it. I'm not sure how well it's going to work out for me with the... We're still building and developing this new studio. So, so good morning, everybody. Good morning. Okay, we had some technical problems yesterday. Kind of lost the show yesterday morning. And it was... Basically, there was an update for the broadcasting software that had to be implemented and had kind of gotten away from me. So that I guess right there is as close as I'm gonna get. I'll have to mess with that more offline. Live is hard. It's gonna bother me, but we're gonna plow on forward. So let me say good morning to people. I see Fish and Golf is with us, and Larry joins us again. Good morning. Danny's with us. Good morning. Good morning. Trish is with us this morning. And Trish, don't you usually watch on YouTube instead of Facebook? Anyway, yes, I can see where you're watching from. Like my mother is on Facebook, but Megan is on YouTube, and that all works. That's all solid. And then let me take a peek over here and see in the chat. I see. Okay, Larry's pulling double duty on Rumble. Larry, there's several other people watching on Rumble, but you're the only one making comments on Rumble, and I do appreciate the engagement. So, what are we talking about this morning, though? And there's. I mean, I can see the rest of you watching. There's a shitload more people watching than are commenting. So those of you who are watching and not commenting, guys, please. This is it's morning coffee. We're here to have a conversation. Now, obviously, I'm going to do most of the talking. I mean, Look at this beard. I gotta run this mouth, right? It's what we're here for. But no, I mean, all jokes aside, what we're here for is to have a cup of coffee and hopefully somewhat amusing conversation. It just happens that the popular topic and the topics that I want to discuss have to, especially in an election year, this is our Super Bowl, right? You know, for guys like me, you know, football's okay, I guess. I've played football. Nobody gets shot at. It's okay, but I mean, for me, team sports are more like, you know, war. And of course, politics is my favorite full contact sport now that I'm not allowed to go shoot bad guys anymore. Waller joins us. Good morning, brother. Good to see you again. So this morning, and I'm glad to see that I got a few of my vet buddies watching this morning, because I'm about to say some things that they will appreciate more than other people will. So this morning we're going to talk about this article. Jeff Bridges, J.J. Abrams, Mark Hamill, and more. Woohoo! Woohoo! Help raise money on white dudes for Harris Zoom call. Let's talk about these white dudes for a minute. So, many of you know me already, watched the show before, but I got enough people watching that some of you may not know the story, the background. And I'm not going to go into a lot of detail, but I'm going to give you kind of the broad strokes. In my life, in my career, I have owned and operated an insurance brokerage. In fact, I've done that twice. I did it once before I was enlisted in the Army, and I did it once after I was enlisted in the Army. And that was kind of the easy, you know, it's not hard to rent an office, or, you know, it's just not hard. It's an easy way to make a pile of money while you're trying to figure out what you're trying to do with yourself. So I did the insurance thing a couple times, but before I was in insurance, and a brief stint in real estate law in my early 20s, I was an industrial electrician. I built paper mills. I built oil refineries, churches, houses, doctors' offices, hospitals, parking garages, you name it. I built shit. And I did that until I was about 25, at which point I enlisted in the U.S. Army, Special Intelligence Operations, and went and I did my war fighting and bad guy killing in Afghanistan. And that was, frankly, more fun than a man ought to be allowed to have. So when I say I was in there, I mean, I worked with Marines, I worked with Army, I even worked with some squids and some fucking zoomies when I had to. Married a squid. She's all right. But I say all that to say this, as we get into talking about these white dudes for Harris thing. I want you guys to remember that when you're talking about opinions, and you start hearing opinions being spouted by these lefties from Hollywood, these are men who got rich pretending to be me. Pretending to be Waller. Right? These are men who got rich pretending to be men. They should all go sign up at the tranny dock to turn in their penises, because they have made their livings pretending to be men. Now, don't get me wrong. Where I am right now, like, this is what I want to do. I want to make movies. I want to, you know, create. I want to write stories, make films, etc., etc. Waller says they're just a bunch of dudes whose wives convince them they're bi. You know what? That reminds me. I had started to pull it up, and then I had to reboot the machine. I think the mic is picking up something a little extra from his current position. While I'm looking something up real quick, Onwed asks, may I ask a question on the current point? Please do. I might ignore you, but you can always ask. Right? That's like a cop asking if he could see if he can ask me for my ID. Hell yeah, you can ask. but in all seriousness, on Twitch there, yeah. If you've got a question, brother, pop it in the chat. Let's see what you got. If it bores me, I'll walk away. Oh, that is not on the current point. Your question is not relevant to the current topic. So, but nice try, Onwed. Let's So, but I mean, the back to Waller's point, they're just a bunch of dudes whose wives convinced them they're bi. I sent a message earlier this morning to Mario. Hopefully he and I can develop another show concept that I was talking about. There's a Zoom call video going around the internet right now, kind of in tandem with this one, and it's all these white women talking about how, oh, hey, the BIPOC women have asked us to come into the space and speak for them and help them and support them. And I think Mario and I could develop, and I mean, bring the receipts, bring the science, bring the psychology literature, the scientific literature on the topic, and show, oh, here's how we understand this. Liberal white women sound like domestic abuse victims. Oh, he just loves me too much. I make him crazy. I make him hit me when I do this, and this. He's gonna get better. I can fix him. He loves me too much. Right? That's what you sound like when you're the BIPOCs want us to come and speak for them. You sound like you've been abused. And there's a reason for that. There's a reason that they sound that way. Because that's what's happened. They've gone to colleges, they've been treated like they're second-class citizens by people for whom we fought to eliminate the second-class citizen distinction, who will never get enough. That's off topic. That's somewhat related. So Jeff Bridges, J.J. Abrams, Mark Hamill, and more help raise money on White Dudes for Harris. And this is one of those things that just breaks my heart, because Jeff Bridges, all three of these guys, they've made movies that I have enjoyed. And, I'm of two minds of this. I agree with the proposition that if you cannot separate the art from the artist, then you just won't be able to enjoy entertainment or art anymore, which is an unfortunate fact of the matter. But at the same time, if you continue to consume the products that are distributed by these sycophants, these sociopaths, these weak men, then you're funding their activities. I don't know what the hell that noise is. Y'all let me know down there if an extra and awful noise just started on y'all's side. I believe it did, and I'm going to try to dial that back a bit. Not sure what's happening there. Okay, so there's some piece of equipment outside that's making extra noise. I apologize for that. Okay, it is not the pressure washer. It's not a fan. Yeah, y'all think it stopped, but what really happened is I turned down the gain. If you're still hearing me clearly, then I think we're good because I've scrubbed the noise. Anyway. And Timothy says it's Big Brother. Yeah, it's brother. I would not doubt it, especially if I'm criticizing these Kangs. Hurrah! So, Jeff Bridges, J.J. Abrams, and Mark Hamill are among the Hollywood figures who joined Monday night's White Dudes for Hair Assume fundraising and organizing rally. Yeah, you know, as long as you continue to consume the media that's produced by these people, then you might as well be writing a check to the Democrat Party. You might as well be writing a check to the DNC. You might as well be writing a check to the Chinese Communist Party. The event, which is being broadcast on YouTube, has currently raised more than $3 million for Vice President Kamala Harris's presidential campaign. Now, this right here, the event, which is currently being broadcast on YouTube. Guys, I want y'all to do something. Every time you see an ad for a pro-choice organization on any social media platform, flag it. Because it is against the terms of service on every platform to advocate for violence, especially murder. Right? These guys are being broadcast on YouTube. They are a pro-abortion platform. They're a pro-abortion political movement, which means that they advocate for not just murder, but for the murder of small children. And if one ever suspects that I am being hyperbolic in that statement, that it is not the case, that the Democrat Party is actively advocating for murder in particular, specifically, then I would refer you to the Trump assassination attempt. It's absolutely what they're advocating for. It's absolutely what they activate for. It is absolutely what they're agitating for. I qualify, man. I'm white, I'm a dude, and I'm for Harris, said Bridges, who played the uber laid-back character, the Dude, in the Coen brothers' 1998 film, The Big Lebowski. I'm excited, man, Bridges added. Meanwhile, filmmaker Abrams promised during the call to match $50,000 raised from attendees. That's right. He's going to give him your money. Ooh, Zentax 9X says cheap viewers on go fuck yourself. I do not tolerate bots selling views on my channel. That's just about the only way you're going to get a ban hammer on this show. So more than 140,000 signed up for the gathering, which featured appearances from actors including Hamill, who pretended to be a warrior, Sean Austin, Sean Austin showed up in the film Range 51. And he was the helicopter pilot in that. And of course, you know, most people know Sean Austin as Samwise Gamgee, and may not remember him from some of his earlier films. This one where he first kind of really became a name. But you know, Josh Groban, Josh Gad, I don't know who those people are. Joseph Gordon-Levitt, okay, he was cute and funny on Third Rock from the Sun. And Bradley Whitford, I don't know who that person is. But you know, these are children who play dress up for a living, and they've become very wealthy. Living fantasy, just indulging in constant fantasy. Rudy, yes. There you go. And yeah, hey, y'all made a shitload of money. Good for you. Good for you. Made a shitload of money, and now you live in the cancer. How often in 100 days do you get to change the trajectory of the world? How often in 100 days do you get to do something that's going to impact generations to come? Okay, Walls asks, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz. There's one for you. I need to pull the clip of this quote. How often in 100 days do you get to change the trajectory of the world? How often in 100 days do you get to do something that's going to impact generations to come? You're not going to, yes, you are going to impact generations to come by making them not get here. You're going to eliminate generations that were going to come. That is the objective. Now let's not forget, when I say that, I'm not just hyperbolically, suggesting that abortion is the murder of a child. That's not some hyperbole. Kamala Harris herself has said that one of the primary objectives of the party is population reduction, explicitly. She has made that very explicitly clear, that one of their many objectives is to reduce the population. I need to add that to my clip box so I can bring it up like the "will convert your children." Oh, and since I mentioned it, that is one, don't ever forget, this is who we're talking about. Okay, whoops. Apparently that particular clip did not survive the last purge. That's okay. Megan says, Bear, that doesn't surprise me because they have no new ideas. I will continue to reuse to support remakes. All these clowns love to stick around and talk about their feelings. I have feelings, right? Sometimes I step on a Lego. I feel that shit. But I'm not gonna go over the 8 o'clock mark this morning. But oh god. Oh, okay. Nope. I gotta get to this. I gotta pull this one up. Okay. Also on Monday, a Woman for Harris organizing call occurred and included actor Yvette Nicole Brown, Pachinko author Min-Jin Lee, social activist Gloria Steinem, Chelsea Clinton, and more. And Chelsea had this to say: I believed a woman could win in 2016. I believed it with all my heart. Well, Chelsea, apparently you were wrong. Let me tell you how the Democrats screwed up in 2016, how they lost. They didn't do enough fraud. It really is that simple. There just wasn't as much fraud in 2016. They legitimately believed that they had the plan in place, right? Democrats don't win elections. They steal elections. They rig elections, right? Okay, this is a whole thing. I'm gonna have to go down this rabbit hole another time. But the move in 2016 was not like 2020, where it was all about ballot harvesting and changing rules, shifting goalposts. Instead, the way they rigged it is they rigged the candidates. They screwed Bernie, and they thought that Donald Trump was an easy win. They thought they maneuvered everything to make Trump the nominee because they didn't take him seriously. They thought they could beat him easily. And so he was supposed to be basically a sure bet win for the Democrats. And the mistake they made was they bet on the American people not voting for Donald Trump instead of trying to do it by, like I said, ballot harvesting and the like. With Obama, it was all about ballot harvesting and racism and taking advantage of the abused spouse mentality of suburban liberal white women. And it just didn't work out. But in 2016, where they got it wrong is they thought they could put up a sabotage candidate. They thought that Donald Trump would prove to be a sabotage candidate and that Republicans just wouldn't like him. What they failed to understand back then is Republican voters already don't like Republican politicians. See, Democrat politicians are a lot more like their voters. They're terrible human beings who are afraid of hard work and would prefer to murder you and take your money over going and getting a job. Well, Republican politicians are a lot like that. And Republican voters, we're busy. See, Democrat voters, Democrat politicians, Republican politicians, these are people who have time on their hands to spend on the pursuit of political abuse. Republican voters are busy. We're keeping your lights on. We're keeping your water running. We're keeping your highways paved. We're putting your bad guys in the dirt. We're growing your food. We're fucking busy. We're not showing up to protest in the street. We're not throwing Molotov cocktails at police cars. We're not setting federal buildings on fire. We're not murdering cops because we're busy. We're busy maintaining the facade of civility that you rail against so violently while constantly demanding that it continue. We're busy. So they always rig it, and they rigged it wrong that year. So that said, I'm gonna go ahead and put the pen in it right there. And yeah, I appreciate you guys. Thanks for watching today. It's and once again, sorry about how yesterday kind of fell apart. That was just a software thing. Live is hard mode. If you haven't already done it, whatever platform you're on, go ahead and click the like button, share to something. Share to one of your social platforms and subscribe or follow where you are. And then, whether you're watching on X, well, no, forget X for a minute. Whether you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Rumble, wherever you're watching, I want you to go over to X. If you're not already on X, get there. Elon is doing some great stuff. And after his interview with Jordan Peterson recently, I think we need to really double down on supporting the X platform and the work of Elon Musk, because Elon went on Jordan Peterson's show, gave an interview, and talked about his eldest son, who is trans now, apparently. And he said basically that Elon said that basically he was duped, he was tricked, he was conned by these sociopaths, by these evil people, and they made him believe that if he didn't do all the pro tranny shit and pay for all these extra surgeries and all this and hormone I think with his experience it was the hormone blockers, and he that's right, because he even went out of his way to say at the time, I didn't understand that the so-called puberty blockers are actually castration drugs. They're the same drugs that you use to castrate rapists, serial rapists. They're not puberty blockers, they're castration drugs. And then he said, and this is what really got my attention. He said, there's a reason they refer to it as dead naming, right? Dead naming is what the sociopaths call it, the cultists. Dead naming is what they call it when you refer to a tranny by their real name, by their given name, by their Christian name. They call that dead naming. And Elon said there's a reason they call it dead naming. Because my son is dead. They killed my son. My son was murdered by the woke mind virus. That's why they call it dead naming. Because the trans movement is not different to the abortion movement. The objective is to kill your children. That's what the left is there for. That's what they want. They want to kill your children. Right? Kamala Harris is Thanos. Kamala Harris and the whole communist movement, their idea is there are not enough resources to go around, so if you can kill off half the planet, it'll be easier to spread the wealth. Coincidentally, by the way, if you kill off the half that has the guns, it will also be easier to steal the wealth to spread it. So, I'm going to leave it there. Thanks for watching this morning, guys. We love you, and we will see you tomorrow.